All right, everybody, it is officially Friday. We have made it through our first week of completely virtual e-learning. I hope you've realized that it's not so bad and you're doing okay in order to keep up with all that work. I do want to start off by saying if you feel at this point like we're doing too much and you're not able to keep up, I do want you to reach out. Know that we still have to give assignments and I still have to grade you, but I do want you to be honest with me and give me some feedback on things that are going well, things that are tricky. We'll check in with this stuff on Zoom today too. But if we can make some changes to make this easier for you next week, I definitely want to do that. So give me some feedback. I want to hear from you. Let me know what you're thinking and feeling so far. So this week we've looked at two different entrepreneurs. You've all sent me, of course, everyone, every single person has sent me an email with their first assignment for this week. Now we have one more assignment to crank out. So I want you on a second sheet of lined paper in a Google Doc, in an email directly that you're going to send to me. I want you to write 8 to 10 sentences that are going to compare and contrast these two individuals and their businesses. So that is your assignment. It is in bold there for you. Um, if you are good to go and just crank this out, ignore the rest of what I'm about to say. But if you're like, Miss Emery, I don't really know how to process this question, I don't know how to break it down, I've given you some different avenues or some different ways to think about it. So let's process through these three questions. If you're stuck, you can use these questions as a way to kind of guide your writing. You can answer one of them, you can answer all of them, but make sure that your writing is tied together and I don't just have like a random list of answers that don't make sense as like one cohesive unit. So 4 to 10 sentences, like very short 2 paragraphs or one really long paragraph. So the first question and way you can think about this is to think about comparing and contrasting these individuals through their characteristics. What characteristics do they share? What are some things that set them apart from just everyday individuals? And through that lens, then what can we conclude? What can we conclude about the traits of good entrepreneurs in general? You might also compare and contrast these people by thinking about their journeys and their processes of starting their businesses. So experts say that entrepreneurship is nonlinear, which means that every entrepreneur follows a different path. In order to start a business, there isn't just one way to do it. So the first thing I want you to think about if you're going to go kind of through this lens is how did your entrepreneurs become successful? Were their paths very different? Were they the same? Do they follow this line of thinking that entrepreneurship is nonlinear, or were they actually kind of going through similar challenges and similar processes? So walk me through that. Another way or another lens you can take is to think about the different lessons that you can take from each entrepreneur. You starting next week are going to be thinking about a business idea of your own. We're going to brainstorm. We're going to think about those needs and those gap areas in our own world today. So based on what you've learned about these people and from these people, what lessons can you take from them? Do they share similar advice? If you were talking to them and invited them to dinner, would they give you the same feedback or would they provide very different insights? Other questions on this, please stop into Zoom for today. By the end of today, you should have emailed me 2 things. Yesterday, due Thursday, was assignment number 1. Your research paper with the answers to those 7 questions for your 2 entrepreneurs should have been done and taken care of. By the end of the day today, on lined paper and emailed to me with a picture, on a Google Doc, in an email, I don't care how you email it to me, but you should send to me your reflection that's comparing and contrasting these entrepreneurs. These are your 2 assignments for the week. These are the 2 things that I am going to be entering into PowerSchool. If by Monday I don't have these assignments, I'm going to start entering zeros because I want to make sure you are all very aware of what your grade looks like, even though we're not in class. Once I get an assignment from you, I will grade it and I will send an email back so that you see what your score is right away. If for some reason you don't get an email back from me in like 48 hours or so, you can assume I didn't get your assignment. By Monday, I will send out individual emails to people who I am missing assignments from so that you have all of the information that you could possibly need and we make sure we're good to go and on the same page. So just some reminders, my email's at the bottom if you need it. Last thing is it is officially weekend o'clock. I hope that after you submit those assignments, you are still feeling okay so far this week about e-learning. Um, if you are having a rough time, if there's something I can do to help you out, please reach out. If you're doing okay, reach out to other people, look out for each other, and try to stay on top of your work as best as you can. I know it's hard to stay focused at this time, but we're going to get through it together. And I will see all of you on Monday or later today in Zoom, just depending on kind of what you need and where you're at so far in your work. Have a great weekend. I miss all of you. Stay safe.